I have a solution for solving racism in the United States of America. It takes 3 generations to create wealth. And it's the 3rd generation that gets to take the work that was built by their grandparents' parents. First of all, I'm keeping it minimal. So I'm only talking about your first $50,000 in income, which people that make less than $50,000 a year don't pay taxes anyway because they get a refund back. So it's really, you're talking about no money. And I'm not saying for you, the white guy, to pay for these people. I'm just saying they don't have to pay. After $50,000, they pay like everybody else because they've already been equalized, etc. Now, what you're talking about is schoolyard fairness, not so much.
Doesn't this go against what Martin Luther King was saying about treating people the same, regardless of the color of their skin? Aren't you doing the exact opposite?
How is it immoral to repair a historical wrong?
Because you're taxing people based off of the color of their skin or their race.
Well, basing it upon their ancestry.
Okay.
If you have documented to say that your grandparents were here in this country in the 1940s, the 1950s, 1920s, the 1930s, all the way through 1619, you can say that you did not have an equal chance at building wealth.
What about a white immigrant? What about if my grandfather immigrated from Ireland and was dirt poor? Will I qualify for this?
It is only because what we're doing is we're talking about.
Why wouldn't I qualify for this if this is about economical status of my grandfather?
Ireland, a slave.
Okay. So this is about him. So if it's not about poverty then. What is racism?
Racism in our country today is that we have 40 million African Americans who feel like they're owed something.
That's not racism.
I'm telling you, this is what we have here. If you watch that video.
So you're not trying to solve racism, you're trying to solve that. But you're not really talking about the socioeconomic difficulties that stunted your ancestors, because the white Irish immigrant who came with absolutely nothing is receiving nothing.
What is the benefit to the white Irish or Anglo-Saxon guy that arrives at this country that was built by the work of free labor?
You're making a big claim that the entire country,
I'm saying,
the ability to.
You're telling me I've got an immigrant from Ireland who has nothing,
Right.
and they said I'm going to go over there and make something of myself. And are you saying that there was no benefit to them that they arrived at a place?
No, that's why they came to America, for the American dream, the pursuit of opportunity.
Built by the free labor.
You're claiming all of America was built by black slaves.
No.
That's what you just said.
Okay, let's be real here, right? So if you're going to say I'm taking this immigrant from Ireland and they're coming here, they are getting the benefit of that they get to come to this country.
Think about the statement you're making. You're claiming that America is the land of opportunity because of slavery.
I'm not sure if it's that simple. I'm not even trying. I'm telling you that was my jump off place for this. I'm just trying to solve the problem.
Sure.
I want to have it so that my grandchildren and your grandchildren can hang out, and there's not even a thought like what's up with race?
You remember when Morgan Freeman was being interviewed, and he said, I wish there wasn't a Black History Month. It should be American history, just like everyone else. And then he's asked, well, how do we solve racism? His response: stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and you stop calling me a black man. Is this not absolutely contradictory to that? Because you're taxing people based on whether they are a white man or a black man, not about whether my grandfather was in poverty, just like this black person's grandfather. No, I don't qualify for the tax incentive, even though my grandfather came from nothing in this scenario.
I'm looking at a solution.
That's the justification that's been used throughout history for bad ideas.
Yeah, I would agree. We're in the least racist place. But does that still mean there are not people out there that can point out all this stuff and get just as mad about it?
That doesn't mean it's true, just because someone can get mad about something.
How do you repair a wrong in our country? You sue somebody and then you get a check. And then you say, you've been held whole. You're whole now because we paid you.
Yeah, we make slavery illegal, and we strive to make opportunity as equal as possible. and to treat people the same, regardless of their skin color. But what you're proposing is the exact opposite of that.
No, it's not. Because what I'm saying is, look, you still haven't repaired the wrong. And this is how we're doing it. You don't have to pay for them. They just get a tax break. And it's really a nothing tax break.
Can you see why this would probably, it would not fly, why this would never actually make it through Congress, and why it would cause people to be, it would actually probably increase racial tensions in America? It would probably have the opposite effect of what you're intending.
Well, I would hope that it wouldn't. I would hope that at some point the American people say, we're tired of this.
I think we have.
I don't think we have, because we still put it on television and make videos about people who are mad. This is a feeling. That feel like they're owed something by this country for what their ancestors did for the country without recompense.
Why am I owed something for something that happened when I was not even alive? Why are you owed something for what your ancestors did? You didn't do it. Your ancestors did it.
Well, see, there's the point. You don't have to pay for it.
But you really think that we should be shaping tax policy based upon that philosophy?
And I'm trying to end racism. And the only way, and the best way I
So
think to
they
do
were.
it-
So were the students at Evergreen.
Right, and I think they're going about it the wrong way. Because I honestly think, like, for me, like, it's irrelevant. I am the benefit of 3 generations of hardworking Americans of African descent. My grandfather was a sharecropper, grew up in a house with a dirt floor without shoes.
Can I ask you? You don't have to answer this. So how has slave? Because you're wealthy today, very wealthy. So how has? Okay.
I'm at the bottom end of the 1%, let's be real.
Okay. But you're wealthy. You've
I'm
made
the
that clear.
1%er, Alex.
You're a 1%. You're in the top 1% of Americans. How has slavery? Can you give me a specific example of how slavery impacted your ability to do that specifically?
Well, I would say that it poisoned my mind for many years because I grew up with family members telling me, well, you'll never be able to do that because the white man won't let you. And I would say that it poisoned, there was so much poison, mental poison around it.
I agree with that.
My ability to do it was stunted because I was told it was impossible by everybody else.
Can I ask you a follow-up question? Sure. By structuring a tax policy like this, where we're giving it to people based on skin color and things that occurred not in their ancestry, things that occurred not during their lifetimes, don't you think that that would exacerbate that mindset that you're describing? Aren't you telling that very story by putting forth a tax policy that's going to be applied to people based on their ancestry and whether their ancestors were slaves or not? Aren't you pushing that very story that you said was your biggest obstacle?
Solve this one problem. And that one problem, I believe, today, is that Johnny feels in his heart that he's just as disenfranchised as his great-grandfather was because he didn't
But
get
we
the
cannot
benefits.
solve problems that are based on emotions because they're subjective feelings. That's
But
not
this one
something.
is based on emotions, and this one is based on historical fact.
Then what about the resulting emotions that are going to come out of this when people feel like this is deeply unfair and they point out the logical discrepancies that I'm pointing out and they say this is not fair, and now you have a whole wave of people with new complaints and new feelings. Are you going to fix those feelings? Because you feel something doesn't mean it's real.
Well, they are owed a debt. You don't think they're owed anything?
I don't think people are owed anything based for things that did not occur, that they did not participate in or occurred before they even were alive. No, I don't think I'm owed anything for the actions of my great-grandfather. I don't think that you're owed anything for anything that you did not do.